someone might invite you for a meal, but you might go out for that rather than you go into their homes. The homes are typically apartments and small flats, so there's not a lot of space to have people. They're very small, but also it's cultural to eat out.
Tortilla de patata, which is a Spanish potato omelette, requires 5 big potatoes. Now, if I was a Spanish woman, I'd just hold this in my hand and go, ch-ch-ch-ch, but I'm not.
We lived in the Basque country in the north of Spain, and they pride themselves on gastronomy. I hope you've noticed the Basque apron. The Basques are in the north of Spain. Typically they're men's eating places. They call them, the translation will be men's societies, where they go out to just a hall, a meeting room. The men cook, the men eat. It's changing a little. Some women are now allowed to enter those, but
I was allowed to go.
I taught in English in an adult class, and for the end of term, their treat to me and Coralie came along was they prepared a Basque. Was it a lunch? It was a lunch, wasn't it? I think
no,
it was a
dinner.
Lunch, was it? But yeah, it was. They took great pride in preparing and saying this is the best food in Spain, and we're the best cooks.
So a Spaniard would say you need extra virgin olive oil, because if you've just got normal olive oil, you'd have all the rubbish. The big shift for us was the timetable.
You mean the eating hours?
The eating hours, so you don't tend to eat much breakfast. You could just go out full of coffee and bollos, which are pastries full of chocolate. That was quite nice. But then you always have your main meal, 2:30, and that could go through till 3:30, 4 o'clock during the siesta break. And that generally consisted of 3 courses. So you had a big salad or a rice dish or something, and then you had the meat. You always had a breadstick with it. And then dessert was a real non-event. So you might just have a little caramel custard or a little yogurt or a piece of fruit.
In the container.
We did invite people round because they would work till quite late, so it was easier to catch up with them later. But they would arrive after 9 to prepare for dinner. Yeah, so that was quite different, and they would be really shocked that our 2-year-old son was already in bed asleep by then.
Do you remember inviting our Spanish friends and they said, this is great, you've invited us, but don't expect an invitation back?
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was kind of a shock at the time, but they were just being open and upfront and, well, this is not what we do. This is your custom, and we're happy to oblige, but don't expect to be reciprocated.
True. We got invited around to a family from church on Christmas Day for Christmas lunch. It was our second Christmas, and they actually eat their main Christmas meal on Christmas Eve. So we weren't quite sure what to expect, but we were served up this breadcrumb dish, and we had absolutely no idea what we were eating. And the lady was from the south of Spain and had such a strong accent that actually we couldn't understand anything she was saying either. So we just ate breadcrumbs and smiled the whole afternoon.
When we were in our first church, in our first year of life in Spain, we were trying to desperately work out a way to integrate into the church, and we had this idea of serving coffee after church and maybe a little pastry or something to go with it.
Because we're real visionaries.
And that was so, wow, what a wonderful idea. Like, this was just something Aussie churches do most normally.
But we had to put it on trays and take it to them. They didn't understand the concept of coming up and coming in and serving. So we went and served them. But it was a great way of being able to chat with them.
Do you think? I was thinking about it then and thinking, I'm not sure that it served its purpose because we were preparing the coffee, and I guess so.
I chatted. A tortilla de patata, a Spanish potato omelette.